Lance by Chance. The untold story of him wrestling as a Von Erich. LanceByChance.com.
Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Wednesday, episode 21. I will be joined shortly by the man they call Dave and AJ Strangebrew. Tonight's Live 531 is going to be entrance themed. We will also be talking tomorrow night's Knockout TV, episode 14. Now, you can find us on our social medias. On Twitch, we are at Fans Working. Facebook, we are the Working Fans Podcast Facebook page. Our email is workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. Our youtube.com/c/workingfanswrestlingpodcast. Remember, we are at 372 subscribers. When we hit 400, we will be giving away a copy of Lance by Chance, written by Vinnie Barry and Lance Vaughn. Now, our website, workingfanswrestlingpod.com, our podcast schedule is, if we have a comedy episode or a special episode, that'll release on Tuesdays, while our wrestling show always releases on Thursdays. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, any major podcast provider. The important thing to remember, though, is wherever you listen to us, please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you can.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now.
Now, we are brought to you by a variety of great sponsors. First up, 482 Designs, FOUR82designs@gmail.com. They can serve your screen printing needs. You've seen the shirts we sell, the stickers we sell. Email Kevin over there, and he'll get you set up right. JD Sloan has been on the show from WrestleTopia. That's WrestleTopia on Facebook and at WrestleTopia on Twitter. You know that we are a part of Renegade Wrestling. We are their commentators, and their Knockout TV shows every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on all their social medias. Go to their Pro Wrestling Tees store, the link below, and get a shirt. Support your boys. Let them know that we sent you there. And you saw the top of the show. We are sponsored by Lance by Chance. That's written by Vinnie Barry and Lance Vaughn. It's the story of how Kevin Vaughn became Lance Von Erich and then went on to become Lance Vaughn. I say it every week, and if you don't believe me, you are missing out on the story of a lifetime. It's interesting to hear how he got into wrestling, but it's even more interesting to hear his life after wrestling. You got to be sure to check that book out. Last but not least, you know we are brought to you by The Buzz. That's our podcast home, our podcast family, if you will. In addition to the show you are watching right now, here are some of the great audio-only shows we offer. Now, we are all itching to get to tonight's Live 531 on entrance themes. But before I bring the guys in, I'm going to play you a quick commercial of all the live shows that The Buzz offers and the times that you can find those. Once this is done, we'll bring the guys in and we'll get down to the fun stuff.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you don't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by your locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, what's the top dish? Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks.
Guys, welcome back for another week of Working Fans Wednesday. As you can hear by my voice, I'm not going to be saying much tonight, but the one thing I do want to say is if you're looking for a great new book that just came out, Jake St. John's Night Full of Stars, it is on Amazon right now. You missed an earlier segment we filmed where AJ bought it, but guys, support a friend of the show. And we're going to get down to business early because tonight we're making up for last week. AJ had to go to Albany. I decided to take a shift. And we're going to do a 5-3-1 on a subject that we've done on the podcast, entrance themes.
One of AJ's
I'll give
favorites.
you mine first. I got
wait a minute.
Noros. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention something real
Breaking
quick.
news?
Breaking news. For those of you who are excited about Jake St. John's new book, I'm going to go on StreamYard once I get the book, and I'm going to do an audio reading of it so you can actually I'll read you guys the book so you can listen to it before you go to bed, and it'll help out a little.
I'll read the rougher poems, the one that Jake has about waking up and you don't feel right in the morning. You'll do that with that voice.
Oh, so the married poems.
We might give those to you because I could do the voice, but you could do the sadness. Now, I'm going to give you my list first because I got it right here.
Yeah,
I got
baby.
Minoru Suzuki. That's got to be the top entrance theme. I got Stone Cold right below that. I got Bret Hart.
Oh, good choice.
I put the Von Erichs. I put the young Von
Another
Erich
good choice.
because it's reminiscent of Kevin.
Stranglehold.
And it makes me think of the original, Stranglehold. And then how can you not have The Undertaker on a top 5 list like this?
All right. You know, it's funny. We had some similar lists here. I just went out and put Stranglehold on it because it's one of my favorites. I also had Bret Hart's theme. I have Edge's theme. And also like Undertaker. But specifically, I had when he was walking out with that Johnny Cash version for a little while. Ain't No Grave. To me, that was badass.
That's
And then I had to throw one WCW one in there, the Horseman theme. I thought they had just an awesome song. It really fit their stuff. And I'm also going to give a couple quick shout outs to Booker T. I love the Harlem Heat theme. It's also one of the longest entrance themes going into business today. Mark Henry, somebody gonna get their ass kicked. And a modern theme, Hangman Page. I love that song. Makes me think that we're have to go to Old West and some shit. I love it. So that's my list.
All right, so let's get to the good list. I also have Stranglehold. It's just one of the best, catchiest wrestling songs of all time. I went opposite of Edge. I went with Randy Orton. I actually like the Randy Orton theme song. I know a lot of people don't.
I don't hear voices.
Yes. Well, for those of us that do, that song hits home.
That's pretty good.
And then I went a little bit different. I have an old WCW song, and this is just personal favorite of mine. It's Barry Windham's theme song off the Slam Jam album.
The fucking Slam Jam album was
fantastic.
the worst, bro.
Greatest album of all time.
It's so bad.
That's this one will probably get us canceled, but I love Slick's entrance music.
Jive Soul Bro.
So this might be our final week with the cancel culture, but I love that song. And then my number one song of all time, and it's the one that gets me off my seat every time. How do you not pop for Ric Flair's music? That's
I know it's got to be one of my favorite movies and then for Flair to co-opt it for his music, I've loved it since.
Now-
Oh, wait! Breaking news! I got breaking news for you.
Flair's not gone, is he?
Jake St. John
Oh.
rule coming into effect here. We've got the Great American for Hulk Hogan. If you were a kid in the 80s and you didn't pop with Real American came on, there was something wrong with you.
You don't have a theme, Randy.
Actually,
His theme is his wife's voice from the other room.
Actually,
That's
yell at
his theme.
actually, if Dave remembered from the show that he came to,
I don't.
I came out to Buffalo Soldier.
I did not remember that.
Naturally.
I did not remember that.
I actually came out to Buffalo Soldier. That was actually my theme song.
Might have
So
been another
screw-
night.
God, I
No,
see you coming out to like Public Enemy or something.
Hey,
No,
I just
I-
want to say, I
came
know we
out
got
to
a lot of
Buffalo
stuff going on
Soldier.
tonight, and I know we got a special thing we want to bring up later, a special idea for our fans. We're going to have a little fun later. But I think the clear winner, even though we're going to pick one, it's Stranglehold. It was on our list. So, boom, suck it in.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with that. But tell me you didn't go crazy when you just heard when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
I got some break. I do want to shout out. It's not breaking news. It's already been announced today. But I want one to shout out today too. Shout out. That's right. Not the Kali though. Forget that. Kane is going to Hall of Fame. Shout out to Kane. As we discussed before on this podcast, me and AJ, he is the greatest mass wrestler of all time. So very happy about
Also gonna pass Mil Mascaras and become the greatest luchador inside the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Mayor Kane. However,
Oh wow, Josh DeBoard coming in with a hot take. Nah, Great American's a classic.
Hogan was overrated. The theme song,
100%.
however.
All right,
Now-
guys, before we get into AJ's segment, Randy Osga had a quick question for us, and we're just going to rapid fire an answer for this. If you were the manager for any wrestler alive or dead, who would it be? I'm going to go first, Chris Benoit.
You son of a fucking bitch. Literally, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Was Chris Benoit. And the
Chris
reason
Benoit,
why.
sponsored by the Work of Fans podcast, naturally.
So I'm going to pick Chris Benoit also. And the reason why was because as a manager, it would be such a great chance for you to get over somebody else's abilities. You're talking about a wrestler who was a wrestler.
Yeah, I'd like to follow her to the ring too.
They said manager, Josh, manager. However, for Chris Benoit, you would have a chance to get him over every night and be his mouthpiece for what is the greatest working machine ever in wrestling.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna try to actually make money. So because AJ, first off,
You're gonna go with a man that still has a family.
No, I know. Here's the thing. AJ wouldn't make sense. He's twice the size of Chris Benoit. It would look weird. I don't know who AJ actually manages, but I would say get a giant. Now, for me, I look at myself, redheaded kid, allergies, right? What's going to get the most heat? I'm going to come out with a guy like Brian Cage or
I thought you were going to say Terry Taylor.
Yeah, no, fucking Terry Taylor.
I thought it was going to be Primo and Epico. He's going to come with his countrymen.
He's going to get our asses beat. No,
Carlito.
I want a fucking heater. I want Brian Cage. You can even go back. I'll take a Sid or somebody like that. I want somebody that's huge, and I'm just going to be an annoying guy who pisses off people like MJF.
I'm going to
that's
give
the package. Or the only other thing that would annoy people more,
like AJ Strangebrew.
Get me Alexa Bliss. I don't know some people.
I'm going to give Dave a compliment here. I think Dave would have been a great manager for somebody like Sid or somebody of that nature. Because with the size difference and with the way Dave can talk, I think he absolutely would have pulled off the Harvey Whippleman.
You sons of bitches don't know. I got the man who rules the world, baby.
All right, now AJ, you got a segment for us. You want to drop?
I got a segment for you. So I went over and I cleaned out Dave's closet. A lot of people don't know.
Get out of there. I got some weird shit in there.
Well, he did have some weird
broken
shit in there.
pieces of the bed in there.
We had to reinforce that.
I found two things of interest in there. I found a lot of this.
You'll find out throughout the house. Must not be looking too hard.
but I also found 30-year-old pack of WCW trading cards. These are actually from 1991. There's no gum in this, thank God. I think it disintegrated.
That shit would be decrepit.
I'm gonna open this up I'm gonna tell who's inside it. Dave is gonna pick whichever two wrestlers he wants, and we're gonna debate who had the better career.
I'm gonna love if this is gonna be like Fred Oatman and Ric Flair.
And this is wild because usually I'm pretty good with prepared.
There's no way we don't even know.
Yeah,
Dave, look who the first card is.
Dutch
Tell me it's Fred
Mantel.
Oatman.
It's Doom.
Doom. Oh, so we got a tag team. Okay.
We got Ron Simmons. We got
But you got one dude
wait.
on the card.
It's
We
only
got-
so it's just Ron.
no. It's actually both. It's Doom. So where's
Okay.
the camera? There's the camera.
Okay, yeah.
We've got Flying Brian,
Wow. There's only 2 in the card?
Iron Anderson,
Oh shit. Wow, okay.
Missy Hyatt.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, turn that Missy Hyatt card around. Let's see what's on the front.
It's
You're
actually
giving us the business end.
it's actually Missy and good old JR.
Fuck it. Put that card down. That ain't
That's
nothing.
heat.
Speaking of heat, the Southern Boys.
Yeah, that'll get over now.
Oh, wait a minute.
Tracy
You thought
Smothers and Scott Armstrong. Or
you
Steve
thought this
Armstrong.
you thought this pack was gonna suck. Ric Flair,
Okay,
Little
well,
higher. Yeah, wow.
Ric Flair. All right, so
Sid Vicious.
wow. We have to pick 2?
How many cards came in this pack?
I
Did
know,
you?
shit,
Oh,
dude.
hold on. Sting.
Okay. Well, at least I know who the 2 are right now. I have to pick.
Wait a minute. You want to do a tag team? We got Doom, the Steiner brothers.
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh, and a guy they're trying to get into the Hall of Fame, Lex Luger.
Wait, let me ask you.
You're gonna
yes,
have to
so-
step his game up.
Now, am I picking the 2 guys with the great, or I can pick 2 random guys and we'll discuss who had the greatest career?
Any two you want from this pack, we will go head to head and figure out who had the better career.
Okay. Then that's a little different. Then let's do. I'm not because to me
I almost
it's
want to
Flair
put
and Sting.
Doom versus Steiner brothers just because I
we
wouldn't
can
have
do Doom
expected them.
versus the Steiner brothers.
We can do that. Let's do that. Doom versus
Let's
Steiner
do
Brothers.
Who do
Okay.
you want?
Hey, I never
You know
remember
who I
getting
want.
a pack of cards that was that stacked ever.
Dude,
You know, that was
Oh,
star
shit.
after star after
I
star.
don't think.
I was expecting Bob Cook, friend of the show. We didn't get him.
That would have been a hell of a card to get too.
I think Dave might be frozen.
He's just frozen in shock right now. He can't believe
He can't believe
it's-
we got that pack. That's,
Yeah, and that's kind of wild with Butch Reed dying so recently.
Butch Reed died recently. They really are trying to push to get Lex Luger into the WWE Hall of Fame right now.
There he is. He's back.
I'm back, baby.
Um,
I'm back.
They're gonna have
Sting-
to push him onto the stage too to get him to the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
That's the new Lex Express.
you got Sting, who has actually come back to wrestle. Hey, by the way, Eric Clark, what's up, man? How you doing, Eric Clark?
Eric Clark, baby. Shout out. Dave looks weird. Yeah, that was frozen, you asshole. Just respect.
Wow, Randy.
Hey,
Dave's about to fire off on Randy.
Let me
Put
tell you
him
something,
calming
brother.
down. Lift
All
him
right,
back
all right.
up.
So
I
here's
made a mistake.
so
I'm
here's
coming to the
what
farm.
here's what we'll do, Dave. You take the Steiner brothers. I'll take Doom.
That's fine.
You can start.
No, I'll let you start.
You son of a bitch.
Guys, how about I start? Because I picked these two because these are two bruiser tag teams from that like 90s WCW where it had that feel, and Doom or Ron Simmons became that solo act. Doom and Butch Reed, when they had the hoods, they were just a powerhouse. And the Steiner brothers, whether they had the Michigan jackets on or whether they went to that late WCW phase where they looked different, they were still powerful. So no matter who makes the bigger argument here tonight, both tag teams are insane.
Well, here's the other thing with where Doom was ahead of its time. You're talking about a very dangerous powder keg that they were opening up down there in the South. You had these two giant black guys coming out with a little small white girl. I mean, that in that time period,
Yeah.
it was very cutting edge, and believe it or not, would get heat in the South and put heat on them instantaneously. So that was definitely an interesting way to go. And you're talking about an All-American Ron Simmons, one of the best football players in college of all time.
Yeah.
You've got Butch Reed, who was one of the biggest names ever in Florida, and also sold out the New Orleans Superdome. He was a tremendous worker for
Wherever he
champion.
ended up.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be Intercontinental Champion. If he had showed up, we wouldn't have gotten the Honky Tonk Man. So you're talking about two great athletes and absolute studs in the ring. Both of them still went on to have good careers. Butch Reed did fall off a little bit. Ron Simmons becomes
Yeah,
the
he's
first
dead,
ever.
brother. You got to leave him alone.
Ron Simmons becomes the first ever African American heavyweight champion for WCW. He then goes on to a Hall of Fame career with the APA, and once again gives Vince a chance to show that he can be racist by renaming him Farouk.
And pairing him with a white woman.
I'm laughing at this because AJ knows in our hearts Doom is a great team, but we both believe the Steiner brothers are
Absolutely.
the better team. But the reason why AJ wanted me to go first, because the key to AJ's arguments, he just wants to pick something and he's trying to dissect, but I totally took away his trump card. And now he's like, well, I just got to build him up the best I can. Knowing damn well that I'm the biggest Steiner brothers mark, so I already have, we're both marks for the belt. I already have all the titles in my head listed that they want.
Not only that, but he literally has the cards, knows exactly what his argument's going to be. And he
I knew this before. When Joe said it, I'm like, all right.
He took away the one chance I had.
Yeah,
my favorite Conan match was his last match.
Yeah, I don't have a specific favorite Conan match, but Randy, you should 100%
buy Power. Yeah.
It was a good first episode coming out of the pay-per-view, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking Doom.
Steiner Brothers and Doom, baby. So let me round up some stuff about the Steiner Brothers.
Don't worry. We will talk about Power and we will talk about tonight's shows. So don't worry. We will jump into that stuff.
Steiner Brothers, man. Rick Steiner. Gosh, that guy had a successful career before his brother even got in. He was already tag team champions in the UWF.
He was in one of my
with the Varsity Club, one of your favorites.
Yeah,
him and Mike Rotundo. And then Scott shows up, and Scott, you know, the first year I think it was an AWA, and then he was a little slow in WWF, but once he finally started cooking with his brother, oh my God, the Steiner line, the Frankensteiner, these guys were just such innovator in moves. Then they just started winning titles out of nowhere. It's like WCW tag titles, WCW US tag titles, and the IWGP tag titles, all at the same time.
They were almost like the next coming of the Road Warriors with how hard hitting they were.
They were, and they beat the Road Warriors at a Starrcade where it was that event they did where they had like a round robin kind of thing where everybody kind of wrestled each other. It was a point system. It wasn't very good as it could have been. Future Shock, I think it was called. But there was a tournament, Steiner's won, and then they went on to WWF eventually. They won the tag belts there for a cup of coffee. They ended up going back to WCW, win the tag titles again. And, I mean, their matches with, to me, Gordy and Williams were just amazing.
Those are just absolutely amazing.
And Scott would later on reinvent himself and end up having a hell of a career and being a world
champion.
They had
good matches against Dirty Dick Slater and freaking Murdoch too.
Oh yeah, they did.
Those matches were freaking just slobber knockers. Mm-hmm. But the matches that they had, since we were talking about Doom and the Steiners, the way that storyline actually started off was Rick was actually dating who they were calling Robin at the time.
Robin Green.
Exactly. So they were dating. So he's dating her, and she's
a little mousy thing.
Yeah. But whenever he would turn his back, Scott would see her doing things that would lead a little bit to, wait a minute, maybe she's not this mousy.
Not at first, but it's slowly built. Yeah. It's slowly built there. Yeah.
And then she turned on them with these two large hooded men.
Right.
And that's and obviously it became huge. And then they have obviously went with Teddy Long afterwards also when he became a crooked referee.
Right.
So
yeah, it was all great shit. We both think the Steiners are a better team. I will give them this though. If there was going to be a winner in a 4-way fight, it's going to be Ron Simmons. Unfuckwithable, baby.
Unfuckwithable. Well, that story obviously that they tell for years is that the Steiners would fuck with Butch Reed.
They
would do all kinds of stuff. And who was it? What's his name there? Freaking the talk show host there.
Conrad?
He does all the mortgages. Yeah, Conrad. So Conrad asked him one time on the talk show, why don't you get messed with like they do with
He's quoting Flair. It's actually Flair's story from his book. That's what it was, yeah.
Sorry. So Flair asked Ron Simmons, how come you don't get messed with or you don't get fucked with like Butch Reed does. He says, I'm unfuckable with. Absolutely incredible.
Unfuckable. That's all right.
100%.
This is better than Saint Bernard from a few weeks ago.
Now, guys, that was a great segment, but I would say tonight's TV offerings are maybe even better because MLW,
Mm-hmm.
Von Erichsen ACH versus Team Filthy. That's Lawler, Kevin Koo, Dominic Arini, and what is it? A chain rope?
Chain
match?
rope match.
Yeah.
So let's see what that is. I'm very curious. There's going to be all chains around the ring. That is correct.
Good
That's
call,
right.
Jason Gross.
Yeah, fan of that era. I love it.
That's fantastic.
Now
You
we've
know what?
also-
Don't worry, for next week I've got another pack.
Okay.
Nice. Now we've also got Mil Muertes versus Gringo Loco. That's
Mill just stole the title from Hammerstone too.
yeah.
The national
We
title.
got Calvin Tankman versus a member of the Sentai Death Squad.
Yep.
Gino Medina versus Zenshi. And Hammerstone has requested interview time. So I think, like we always say every week, if you're not watching MLW, it comes on right after us. We know that Josh DeBoard has a interview with Jason Dugan tonight from our ARW. But watch that and then watch MLW on the replay.
That's right. You too, baby.
So I'll give you a little secret as to what I do. I put my headset in one ear and I watch it on my phone while I'm watching MLW up on the screen. There's no reason you jabronis can't do the same thing.
That's not a bad
Multitask.
idea. It gets Josh that view, and you can keep up with MLW just like
You do not want to miss that interview though with Josh DeBoard tonight. It's going to be hot.
Great podcast.
100%. Shout out to Josh. Randy's a fan.
Yeah.
Now AEW tonight, hell of a lineup. Darby Allin versus John Silver for that TNT championship.
Great match.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
FTR and Sean Spears versus the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin from Top
Yep.
Flight.
That's right.
That is going to be another wild one. And that's the first time we're going to see members of the Pinnacle in action together.
Spears and FTR is about as technically sound as you get.
100%. You got Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal in a AEW World Championship Eliminator match.
That's going to be a hell of a match too. I mean, Matt Sydal for years has just brought it, and obviously Kenny Omega is the best on the planet right now. So that's going to be a hell of a match.
100%. Nyla Rose versus Tay Conti, and Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid.
Okay, first of all, don't you ever gloss over Tay Conte.
Lucha
That's,
Brothers. That's going
my
to be
favorite
I'll
awesome.
gloss
Brazilians.
over her all I want. Dave knows.
My favorite Brazilian wrestler ever.
Not Caesar Bononi pulling out that dude on the little sled and stuff. Now, Dave, do you got the NXT lineup for us tonight?
I certainly do, man. I'm all about that. I got Io Sarai and Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez tonight.
That's going to be a good match.
Amber Moon and Sachi Blackheart. I don't know much about the team. It's Aaliyah. I've seen a lot of Aaliyah. And Jessie Camille, I believe her name is.
Yes, it is. It's Jesse Camille.
The tag titles. We got Cross versus Oni Lorcan. That should be a
That is going to
Oh
be.
my God.
I don't want to get into my match of the night yet, but I feel like that's going to be 1 or 1A.
LA Knight versus Bronson Weed. That's should be a fun one.
Whoa. First of all, it's L.A. Knight.
Damn right it is.
Do it right.
If only we could have seen LA Knight on Sunday
Yeah.
Now,
in NWA, but we'll get to that later.
there's two more matches I want to get, and then there's a couple of things I also want to address too. This is probably not going to be a slobber knocker, but I'm looking forward to it. Walter will be on the show tonight against Drake Maverick. I feel that Drake's going to get his ass kicked. But
That's going to be a slobber knocker, but only for one person.
now, this is a hell of a match. This would be been a main event anywhere, like on the Independents Jordan Devlin versus Kushida.
That is going to be good.
Yeah, and then
First of all, Jordan Devlin's the man. I like
Irish
Jordan
Ace,
Devlin.
baby. I love him. I think he's the best, and I'm really excited for his matchup at what's going to be whatever one of the takeovers against Escobar. I think those two will tear it up. And then
Finally bringing that storyline with the cruiserweight title around, and we're finally getting some resolution for things that were put on hold at the start of COVID.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm liking about this time of year in wrestling is we're finally able to kind of tie up some storylines that got put on hold with last year.
Now,
Hey,
Lorcan's
what-
partner got injured last week, Danny Burch. So
Yeah.
the tag titles have been declared vacant.
Separated
Regal is going to
shoulder.
make an announcement on that tonight. And then there was also a thing where O'Reilly and Cole got into it over the weekend in a gym. And Regal's going to have some consequences and stuff to mention about that as well. By the way,
Britt-
shout out to Britt Baker, who when O'Reilly and O'Reilly and Cole got into it, she was on Twitter. Enough, Kyle. So Britt Baker keeping kayfabe alive. We're crossing brands, and we're gonna make sure that we get over this.
Breaking news:
Oh, shit.
Tyler Peters is now watching.
Woo, my man.
Yeah,
Welcome, Tyler. Nice to have you.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to point this out too. I just saw on Twitter, Escobar actually went out and he congratulated the greatest luchador of all time, Kane, for making the WWE Hall of Fame.
I mean, he probably like just as a kid, as a small child, I imagine that's who he just grew up idolizing the whole time.
Yes. Well, like all of the people in his village, he
Mhm.
thought to himself, he was like, who can I be like? What great masked luchador can I be like? Oh, El Cano.
Okay, no, the guy who burned
Yes.
down his parents' house, but it was an accident.
Now, guys, before we get into our match of the night for tonight, obviously Randy brought up NWA earlier. NWA Back for the Attack was over the weekend. It was an all right pay-per-view. It's good to see the NWA back.
Yeah.
I would have preferred to see them back earlier. The pay-per-view felt like a WWE pay-per-view where a WWE pay-per-view is like Raw Light now.
Mhm.
That's what this pay-per-view felt like. It had good moments. It wasn't terrible, but it was like a C plus B minus thing.
Yeah, I think the big thing with that is that without the shows, the best thing about NWA was the build to shows, and we didn't have that build for this one.
No, and the video packages they played are still top notch.
Yeah.
So I think as they have more weeks of Power to play off of,
Right.
because that first episode of Power was good coming out of it.
It was,
Because
and I
they
felt
had
anything.
Tom Latimer's storyline to
Yeah.
go on, but they also introduced new things, and I just thought it was a great.
And we
first
played off of Aaron Stevens' babyface kind of turn with Kratos basically giving him shit throughout the tag match that they had on Power last night. So they used the pay-per-view almost to build the future television. It was almost like the launch.
I want to give credit here too. They did a good job of taking someone who is doing very much a comedic gimmick in Aaron Stevens, and they have turned it around so that he is taken more seriously. They're doing a good job with the baby face turn. This is someone fans wanted to cheer for the longest time in the WWE. They've always wanted to support him, and everybody's tried to make him a heel. And he is a good heel, don't get me wrong. But why not use him for the face that you actually can use him for? And he is seriously a very good wrestler in the ring.
Yes, he is.
Definitely. Now, guys,
Match of the night.
we can wrap this up so everybody can go watch MLW, Josh DeBoard's Jason Dugan interview, and then AEW and NXT tonight. Match of the night, I'm going to go first. It's got to be Lorcan and Cross with Von Erich's ACH versus Team Filthy. Like, those are my 1A and 1B. Who do you guys got?
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm going to go with Jordan Delvin and Kushida with runner-up being just, I'm so happy to have Walter back. I can't wait for him to give the ass kicking to Drake Maverick he deserves.
Yeah, I'm with you. Devlin and Kushida is my number one match of the night. My number two is actually John Silver versus, I think that we all hope Joe feels better. Thank you for that. He's in my prayers tonight too.
I was going to say your prayers. I'm going to eat my vitamins.
Yeah, exactly. But my second match of the night, and something I'm looking forward to very much, is actually John Silver versus Darby Allin. I think that's going to be a hell of a match. Those two guys are going to tear it up. We're lucky enough in the Northeast to get to see them wrestle on the independents, get a chance to we've had interviews here with John Silver, if you want to check that out.
I want to see him win, but Darby's just too good with that title run, I feel.
I don't think they're going to take the belt off him yet, but it's only a matter of time before John Silver gets some kind of gold around his waist. He is hungry.
He's hungry, baby. Johnny hungry.
right, guys.
One more thing on a serious note. I'm sorry, I almost forgot. If you do get a chance, you don't want to miss out on me and Joe. We are going to do that recording of us reading A Night Full of Diamonds. And I think that by Jake
Night
St.
Full of
John.
Diamonds, Jake St. John. By
Yeah,
Amazon.
we're definitely we're going to take the time. We're going to record that, and when you've heard these two voices read Jake's poetry to you, you'll never be the same.
I actually looked in this book,
Yeah.
and when we were featuring his poetry earlier this year, a couple of the poems that he leaked to us early ended up in this book. And speaking of books, AJ, what's another good book people can buy?
Guys, a good book that you can actually also read right now is Lance by Chance. It's brought to you by Lance Vaughn. It's and Vinnie Barry. Lance Vaughn is the guy who got to be one of the Von Erichs. He ended up being Lance Von Erich. And it's brought to you by Vinnie Barry, who's the author. It's an absolutely great read. I have actually read it twice now. There's all kinds of road stories about some of your favorite wrestlers, and you don't want to miss out on that.
Great sponsors too, by the way. We used to have another great sponsor. What happened to those guys? Shave your never mind.
Yeah.
I
think we shaved the fat and got them out.
Well, I think after this week, hopefully we'll get that Blue Chew sponsor.
Hey,
You'd like to hope so. But guys, thank you for joining us again this week on Working Fans Wednesday, and we will see you again next week. Have a good one.